G'day there, Ray Corcoran here. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to save your first house deposit. So obviously the first one is the hardest and the subsequent ones get easier and easier. But having bought multiple properties myself every time I've saved the money instead of recycling equity, which would have been faster to be honest, but I like having the equity in the properties. So basically what I want to go through is some of the tips and things that I learned along the way, and hopefully that can help you save for your property a lot faster than you would have otherwise. So with that said, let's get into it. So the first thing that you need to do is work out the number that you need. So it sounds simple, but we just need to work out how much do you need to save. Now, for a lot of people, depending on where you live in the world and how expensive house prices are where you live, many people need to look outside of where they live. You know, for me, I live in Sydney, Australia, and house prices in Sydney are the most expensive pretty much across the whole country. So it's a lot easier to get into the property market by buying in more affordable areas. What we want to do is work out, what is the number that you need. You also need to factor in other costs on top of that. So it's not just the deposit that you need money for, depending on where you live, there's all sorts of different costs, in different countries. But for most people, you need a conveyancer, you need building and pest inspections, you need cost for stamp duty. For many loans, if you're going to put in less than a 20% deposit, you've got to pay LMI, which is lender's mortgage insurance, which can be a big cost. If you can save the 20%, personally, I would do that in most scenarios. Obviously, every situation is different, but you've got to factor in some costs on top of that. So if you just Google property purchasing costs calculator, you'll be able to find a variety of calculators online that can help you work out how much will you actually need to buy the property. So the second step that we're going to look at now is doing a projection. So this is really, really important because it'll help you realize whether you're going to get to your target in a reasonable time frame or not. And it's going to help you point out whether you have issues with how much you make or how much you're spending, how much money is coming in and how much is going out. And this can be a sobering sort of part of the process for people, but it's important to look at it now and realize it now so you can make adjustments as you go. For example, if you make, $5,000 a month and you spend $4,000 a month, that means you have $1,000 a month left over, and over 12 months, that's $12,000. If you're trying to save $100,000 for a deposit, it's going to take you like 8 years to get there. Obviously, that is too long a time frame. So you either got to reduce the amount of deposit you want to put in, look at a cheaper property, or you need to adjust the numbers somehow. Spend less, make more, that sort of stuff. So we need to work that out, and so it's really important that you do this step because it'll help you realize what kind of pace you're going at in terms of accumulating money, and it'll help you realize whether you really need to get your butt into gear to get more savings much faster. And for most people, they'll do this calculation and realize, wow, this is actually going to take me maybe 3 years to get, maybe even more, to get the house deposit. And if you don't want to wait that long, then this is a good reminder so that you make some changes now, and it'll give you good motivation to make changes now so that you can accumulate money much faster. The third thing we need to do is a bit of a clean of house. So we want to have a look at, just going through any of your stuff and selling any unnecessary stuff. This is a good one to do just to double check. Some people are going to have heaps of stuff they can sell, others are not going to have much, but it's worth checking. If every dollar counts for you and you need to save a deposit, look at everything that you have. Look at what could I sell on eBay or Gumtree or Craigslist or whatever the big sites are in your country, and just get rid of all the stuff. Get rid of as much stuff as you can. Even if it's like $50, $70, that sort of stuff, it still adds up, especially if you don't have much money, that will add up. So it's really, really important. So go through all your stuff, look at what you can sell. Number 4 is fill your calendar with work. So what I mean by that is that basically the way that I approached it when I was saving money was the more I work, the less chances I have to spend money. So the more I'll accumulate. So for some people that might not want to work 24/7, and I get that. But if you're anything like me and you really want to save quickly, you just got to bite the bullet. So I've had times where I've had multiple jobs. I've got a business now where I'll just work more and more hours, and obviously you got to work that around family and kids if it's applicable and all that sort of stuff. But generally, I like to fill my calendar with just as much work as I can get done, especially if you're in your younger years, you've got the energy to do it, and you are investing that time so you can get some benefits and grow your wealth later on down the track. Number 5 is a really important one. So you need to keep the goal front and center. You know, if you're going to be trying to achieve a goal that could take you 12 months, 2 years, even more, you're going to have motivation that'll go up and down as you go. So it's really important that you keep your goal front of center so you don't forget about it, get over it, move on to something else. This is important to you and this is something you really want to do. Keep the goal in your face every single day. So what I did was I got a piece of paper, like just an A4 piece of paper, and I kind of drew almost like a bar, and I would have the amount that I needed on the top of the bar, and then I would kind of color it in as I got more and more paid off. And for me, I don't know if it's some sort of psychology thing, but the satisfaction I got from coloring it in every time I added $1,000 or a few $1,000s was very, very motivating. And I think you'll find that'll be the way that you'll experience it as well. So have it front and center, have the, because it kind of, it makes you feel guilty as well about buying any stuff or wasting any money, knowing that, you could have helped top up the bar some more. So it's always a good thing to have a look at, making the goal front and center. If you live with your partner, make it, it's something that both you guys can have a look at all the time. It's always visible. It'll just keep it front of mind at all times, and it'll help you sort of make better decisions. Number 6 is accept that you're going to be keeping a low profile for at least 12 months, if not more. For a lot of people, they do this half saving, which is what I like to call it. You're kind of a little bit saving, but you're still kind of getting a few luxuries. And if you're also the kind of type of person that thinks, oh, well, I deserve it and that sort of stuff, then this video is probably not for you. If you're the kind of person that wants to save a lot of money, you've just got to bite the bullet and live very, very lean. And you've got to, like I've said in one of my previous videos, you've got to embrace it. Just accept that you're going to live lean, and it's probably not going to be fun. It's not supposed to be fun necessarily. Like I find saving money fun, and I'm sure after a while you find it very fun as well. But it's just really important to understand that it may not be fun the whole way. There might be lots of parts of it where you're completely over it, but the whole point is that you just need to accept that for a certain period that you're just not going to be living the full maybe fancy lifestyle or doing all the things that you want to do. The whole point of it is that you sacrifice, eat crap for a bit, and then eventually you can, once you accumulate some stuff, you can start to ease up a bit and enjoy some of those luxuries. So the next one can be a bit of a hard one for people, but it's all about making more money. Ultimately, only so much cost cutting will help before you have to start making more money. And obviously, for some people, they might be offended when someone says, well, just get a high paying job, because it might not be as simple. And with the economy being weird, it can be a bit tricky. But what I really recommend is ultimately, if you don't make enough money, the numbers are going to be hard to accumulate fast. So that's the way it is. So there's no way of sugarcoating that. There's no way of giving you the easy answer. If you don't make enough money, you need to either A, do more hours, B, change your job to something better. Ideally something, stuff like sales can be great because you can get paid commission and your work is more correlated with your performance rather than your hours alone. Look at upskilling. If you don't get paid that much, you need to ask yourself, be honest, what skills do you actually have? And what skills could you build that could get you paid more? Because lots of skills that, say cleaning, it's very commoditized. Anyone can do that for $10 an hour, $20 an hour, that sort of stuff. So if there's, but however, if you have some higher level skills, some professional services skills, where it could be marketing, or you could be really, really good at sales or certain other skills, people that perform well there can get paid significantly more if you're very good at it. And a lot of that stuff doesn't require degrees and that sort of stuff. So have a look at how can you increase your pay. Do you need to take a second job? Look at all those sorts of options, because ultimately, that's one of the things that you can control the most is how much you make. So have a look at increasing your income. Cost savings great, but increasing your income's even better. Number 8 is more to do with, I guess, the social aspect of saving money. Saving money doesn't happen in isolation, even though it might feel like that. Saving money doesn't happen in isolation. You have friends, you have family, you have maybe co-workers or all that sort of stuff. You have all these people around you. It's not a static environment, it's a dynamic environment. And you can't just lock yourself in a room and save money and not see anyone, not talk to anyone, that sort of stuff. Even though that would work really well, it might not play out in the real world. So you need to understand that all the people around you aren't aware of, may not be aware of what your goals are and what your objectives are. So one thing that I'd recommend, and one thing that I did, was whenever I was, in sort of savings mode, I would communicate that to the people around me to let them know that, hey, I would love to come, but I'm really, really focused on saving money right now, and like, let's catch up some other way, or let's go to coffee, or do something that doesn't cost as much. I still want to see you, still want to spend the time, but we'll work out something else where it's like literally, I want to put everything into saving for this house, or saving for this, saving for a car, or whatever you're trying to save for. Just let people know, and just communicate with them, and just let them know it's not like a personal thing. It's actually just like, I really want to get to this goal. I want to get to it within 12 months or whatever the target is. And you'll find that that's a lot easier on your relationships, because they know why you're not coming. If you don't communicate well, they're going to think they're just going to stop inviting you to places, and that sort of stuff can break down. But you just need to communicate to them, this is what I'm doing, and the right people in your life, they won't care. They'll be like, fair enough, we'd love you to come, but I get it. So the social side is really important. A lot of people underestimate this, and they focus on getting the right app or the right this, and realistically, some of the social stuff and people getting angry at you for not coming places or cancelling, not attending stuff, that stuff is, I find, probably the most awkward stuff, rather than just some of the more detailed, which savings account, or the more like detailed stuff. Point number 9 is the final one is really a thing to keep in mind throughout the whole process. Saving, you're going to have times where you can't be bothered saving, you just want to go spend it all, or just give up, or maybe we should just not bother. But ultimately, one of the I don't know who said the quote originally, but discipline equals freedom, and that quote will put you in very, very good stead if you just understand that if I'm disciplined now, it'll actually create more freedom than anybody else around you would have. If you have the discipline to do the task and do the inputs, the outputs will take care of itself. So if you do the not going out, not buying stuff you don't need, selling any of the stuff that you've got, working on upskilling, trying to get either promoted or doing more hours or getting a second job, if you do the inputs, the outputs take care of themselves. So understand that discipline will lead you to more freedom. People always make comments like, oh, you need to live your life though. That's true, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live where I just barely have enough for the rest of my life and give myself little treats or creature comforts along the way. I'd rather just be really, really tight for a few years, work really hard, invest as much as possible, and then that way I can have a disproportionate amount of money for the rest of my life, and I get to enjoy that, and my family gets to enjoy that. So that's how I think about it. But yeah, if you found that useful, if you found that interesting, let me know in the comments, and hope that helps you on your journey to saving for your first house deposit. And if you have any questions, let me know.